tonight. I ain't gonna entertain you too much, but I'm more so prepared. I expect it. You know what I'm saying? I'm always shocked when I don't get trolls because it's like when I expect trolls, I don't get them. And when I don't expect it, they just randomly appear. I don't know. It's kind of like Murphy's Law or whatever. But we're going to get in this Strait of Hormuz, man. Listen, Strait of Hormuz is closed, dog. I don't care what nobody say. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. And if you want any indicator of the strait being closed, look at gas prices. They done snuck them motherfuckers up. Gas prices were cheaper last week when the strait supposed to have been closed before any deal or arrangement got together. I remember, and see one thing about gas prices being fucked up, you gotta watch the natural, what do you call it? Those not natural price gouging motherfuckers. There's always them folks, and I ain't talking about white people or black people. I'm talking about them folks who you see working at the gas station. So don't be the owners of the gas station. Them other folks, them cash patels. Let's put it like that. They be fucking price gouging like a bitch. Every state that they got a gas station in, you just welcoming a person to say, yeah, I'm gonna raise my gas to $8, $10. Come on, fam. Like, y'all be doing the most. And then don't even get legit gas. Got the gas all watered down and whatnot. But nevertheless, I found me a low-key secret spot. This is something I will withhold information. I found me a low-key secret spot where gas last week was like $3.19. Now, far be it from me being a cheap bastard, I'm going to learn this lesson because when I see a deal, I usually like to just go ahead and get it in bulk, get as much as I can before the prices go up. But somehow, some way, I've been penny pinching a whole lot lately. So I see the gas for $3.19 whatnot. I get me like pretty much 3/4 of a tank when I should have just filled up and came back with every goddamn 5-gallon jug of gasoline carrier I could get. But nevertheless, it was $3.19. So I said, well, shit, they say the Strait of Hormuz open. Bitch, I can't wait to see what that gas station looking like this week. Because this gas, mind you, when the gas was $3.19, everywhere else, even the cheapest gas in my local town, was $3.54. And it's like they be in principle with each other because they gas is $3.54, but everybody else gas $3.70, $3.60 something, which is, I know if you're in another state, you like, man, that ain't shit. We got $4. But I'm just talking about locally, right? Central Georgia shit. So they be in cahoots because the other gas stations is 20% higher than them. So you think you getting a deal because you like, well, they $3.54. But what you don't know is you go to the next county, which was almost worth driving to the next county because I can get it for $3.19, depending on how much it take to fill up your tank. So I was getting it for $3.19. I thought that would be the story today. And when I get there, I didn't even pay no mind because I'm so used to them having a cheap gas. By the time I get to the tank, I'm looking at the little numbers on it, like what it says, the indicator. It say $3.54. I'm like, damn, I could have sworn I seen somewhere for $3.41, which was still crazy because it was $3.19 last week. So how in the hell is the Strait opening? And this is what you're going to have to get used to. When you're dealing with greed, corporate greed, capitalism greed, and shout out, it was this guy last night, I never finished watching a documentary. He talked about real governments and how real governments operate. He gave three examples of three governments, how a government operates. He gave the government of Russia, the government of China, and the government of Iran. He explained that how corporate greed does not facilitate the government. It does not run or govern the government. The government can punish billionaires for doing insider trading and monopolizing and stuff like that. Here in America is range-free corporate greed. Corporations choose who's your, oh, don't leave out non-government officials. Well, I go to talking this real shit, then you see, this is how you, this is what I'm talking about. Outside of America, I will have however many views. But you get censored. We live in the most censored country, bro. Like, I think that sham of what we was taught as kids. And see, you know what? I've been the biggest advocate for the educational system, and I always talk about how we never invest back into the Department of Education. But now I'm starting to see why government don't even care, even though, like I just said, government is corrupted. But now I kind of see why, because most of my childhood and the information I absorbed and obtained was manipulation and brainwash. I thought I was raised in America to believe, just like you know how they'll give you that little Kim Jong-un, they say, oh, they supposed to believe that he's the greatest person there. We're giving the same fucking shit in America. Oh, America's the greatest country, the freest country of all, and the land of the free. Then you go and try to go get your liberation and your speech and this and that, and you try to, let's just say a state want to secede from the rest of the country. Secede, Texas tried to secede. A lot of you don't even know what the hell secede is, but a lot of states have tried to secede because it's. I've said this multiple times. I haven't said it in a while, but I say it again. Three states that can literally secede right now from America and don't need America: Florida, Texas, and California. Texas and California more so, but Florida, Texas, and California has their own economy that they can run without. They don't. That's why Florida doesn't have like no taxes on it. Now it's amazing that Tennessee is able to do it. I don't know what that drives their revenue, but God bless Tennessee for not having no state tax. But I can see why Florida could say we don't need no state tax because they get so much revenue and hotel fees and et cetera, where they can offset it. And a lot of visitors. Tennessee is apparently is doing something correct. So whatever y'all doing in Tennessee correct, what allows y'all a state that's over Georgia, a state that's under Kentucky. Think about what surrounds Tennessee. Tennessee borders itself with Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Kentucky. And think about what's out of those states who is tax free. So clearly the politics in Tennessee, you guys are doing something amazing. We can understand why Texas is able to offset it with their oil sales and stuff like that. We understand why California able to offset it with their GDP. We also understand Florida. So these are three states that don't need America for nothing. America needs these three states. America pimps these three states. I think that while let's just say this election shit work, and it doesn't, because it's all rigged, and I'm about to go in the house. But I thought the outside would be a good vibe for me, with the mosquitoes kicking my ass. But let's say this election system did work. If I'm Texas and I'm California and I'm Florida, we getting together and we getting in cahoots. If there, let's just say 250 electrics, well then shit, we need 50 apiece. That mean 100 electrics got to be broke down and divided amongst 47 states. But you're gonna tell us the big three? That's the big three. Just like basketball, that's the big three. There is no America. You take away Florida, Texas, and California. There's no America. And America is at risk as the generation swap out, as the boomers die, as the generation X get old and they become irrelevant, as the millennials start coming into power and open to these ideas of the Gen Zs, et cetera, and their own creative thoughts. America's at risk of losing whatever identity it thought it had because the identity that it thought it had is skewed. And I'm here to tell you that, brother, there are so many wonderful ideas that's been floating around that people are willing to incorporate, such as these states seceding. Hey, you want to be your own country? Go ahead and be it. You have, and this is why I lose the other five, the so-called because you got to be intellectual if you tuned in this far. I'm not answering those stupid questions. So if a person asks me if I'm Christian, just know I love my Lord and Savior, brother. You ain't been tuned into my streams enough to know me. If you did, you wouldn't even have to ask me that. That's not even a rhetorical question. That's a redundant question. So with that said, though, America is at a pivotal point of deciding its identity. It's having an identity crisis right now. America has always had an identity crisis because non-Americans started America. And they said, we're just going to call it this. So that's the first identity crisis. To deny the people who was already native to the land. That's the identity. Australia going to have something similar, I believe. Australia is further ahead in government as far as America is, because like I said, corporations run America. I don't know how Australian politics work, but I do understand that as long as the Australians don't acknowledge the Aboriginals as the natives of the land and make a adjustment, sort of like the Americans are supposed to have done with the Native Americans here, then you're going to always have conflict and strife because it's a false identity. It's a false belief of what you believe this country to be. And what you believe it to be is somewhere free, Anglo-Saxon, started by Anglo-Saxon, but that's not the actual situation at all. Because we think about this. I put this in perspective for you. You look at the money that they just gave up to Iran. That's reparations. That go your reparations for black Americans right there. The fact they was able to concede that money in a matter of 2 weeks or 3 months, however you want to call it. And they ain't conceded it in 200 years. 250 to be exact. If we talking about the 250th birthday of America, and if we want to go back farther before the actual Declaration of Independence, shit, 300 years. 300 years they ain't concede because blacks didn't never put a foot. See, things have worn, and they talk about these forever wars. America has been in war 80% of its inception. The forever war, the war starters, the warmongers, the war perpetuators. You think about, and this is where they get you, even black Americans at, but especially if you're from poverty. How many black Americans benefit off the military? And I ain't just saying black. Everybody benefits. White people be milking it. But how many of you motherfuckers ain't never been to war? Think about it. Very few of the military. It's like 30% that been to war. 30% that killed somebody. Less than that killed somebody. So you never been to war. You ain't actively defending shit. You get paid to fucking sleep in the AC. And you get ridiculous amounts of money just to just do drills and practice. That's like a boxer don't get paid to fight. All I gotta do is just spar and lift weights and shit. It's like a football athlete. All they gotta do is get paid to just show up, practice. What we talking about? Practicing for some shit they never gonna participate in. And then when you think about the companies that's not even the warmongers, they warmongers, but they're not even in the military. You think about the Boeings and the rest of these company that you guys know. That's all they like located in like a 30-mile proximity of the Pentagon. These people that's charging $10,000 for a bolt, $10,000 for a screw. It could be a little rod like this. Look at this little rod. But if it's bought by the federal government, $1,000. You want to talk about milking. You want to talk about money laundering. You want to talk about just everything you can imagine that you and I would go to jail for if we tried. That's what they doing. And they using it in the name of war. Our fucking streets is fucked up. The pavement messed up. Potholes. Bridges is falling. All type of shit. Like the infrastructure is just, we don't got no high rails, no fast rails. When the last time you seen a train track really being built? Last time I seen one was in a movie with the people in the prison working on a chain gang. That's why they brought up chain. I ain't seen a train track being built in forever. So we don't put no money back into this shit is almost like this how you know it's ran by a corporation. When I first asked somebody at one of the companies I worked at, I say, why we don't got no updated vehicles, man? Why like we had vac trucks and shit. We like, why we don't get no, PT, I forgot what it's called, but the something. It's what you turn on or turn off for the vac truck to work. He's like, this truck's still good. This is a millionaire. Now he buys this kid, he had twin sons. He give his twin sons $2 million every first $2 million that the company makes, right? So you got all this money to race Porsches, give your sons $2 million in the beginning of the year. But you ain't got enough money to make the shit that's making you money. And that's how corporate greed works. Corporate greed, and you notice if you're on anybody's job, they'll let their facilities lapidate. They'll work on bare minimum until the shit just not working. They'll keep patching it together as long as it's making money. It ain't no upgrade, ain't no forward vision, ain't no thinking like, okay, I gotta stay ahead before this product. That's what America is. Let's milk this bitch. Let's ring it. Let's string it. Let's milk it. Let's milk it until there ain't nothing to get from it. And then they're gonna point the finger and try to divert you and say, let's start a race war. Let's start a race war. Shit, yeah. It was your own people, and it's gonna be some idiots. They're gonna get their ass whacked, most stuff. They're gonna think they're gonna run up on a nigga like me or the wrong nigga, and they're gonna get their ass clipped. But before that happens, they're gonna be feeling like they was cheated, and somebody's gonna give them the person to look at, but that's gonna be the wrong person. And the person giving them the focal point to look at, that's the motherfucker that robbed them. So it's like what they say, don't you study looking at this hand while the other hand rob you and shit. Your folks is what's robbing you. Your corporations, your white people, your black people. But when I say you're black people that is minuscule. Because you look at a Jay-Z, let's just Jay-Z, right? He's a prime example of niggas that sold out his own people for a couple billion. Which, that's a lot. But a couple billion ain't shit when we got centurion billionaires. Niggas done touched $100 billion 98 times more than him. They don't touch $1 billion 98 times more than him. Fucking Jordan. For how long it took Jordan to make a billion? Versus you look at the Kanye's, the Dr. Dre's, and the Jay-Z. These niggas relatively made a billion times faster than Jordan. How many sneakers, how much money did he have to make Nike? 100 billion before they gave him his first? So we have our people that plays that role of selling out, but it's your people that sells out the most. And I say that to give segue to say our next president, I've decided on this shit. First of all, I want to say everybody need to vote Green Party. Everybody want to know, what should I do? I'm tired of the Republican Party. Tucker Carlson just left the Republican Party. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I became a fan of early. I like to say that I was on the Marjorie Taylor Greene bandwagon early because she was still going through with the Jasmine Crockett. And one thing I understood that was Jasmine Crockett talk a good game and great. That's awesome. Believe it. I hope she does great. But you still a part of a racist party that doesn't do shit for black people and that just sells us bullshit. And like a lot of people will tell you, a lot of people that knows, instead of just vote off of names or just vote because somebody just told them, hey, just vote for this. A lot of people know Democrats didn't even lie under Kamala Harris. They didn't even give us no lies. And it's almost offensive that Joe Biden's wife want to come out now and talk about his negligence. Like, yo, you wouldn't be talking about his negligence if he hadn't what he did, he put something on himself where he can't go to jail. He pardoned himself. So he was able to pardon himself and say, well, man, listen, I'm absolving myself for any future crimes. You can't indict me. So it made it harder. So now his wife is free to able to talk about, yeah, he been out of his fucking mind for 20 years. And then, you hear these people, and let me tell you something too. I heard these black people, I passed these black women today, and it was frustrating because I could tell these are two older black women that work their ass off. But the problem is ignorance, and you just can't defeat ignorance because they sitting up here arguing about Obama. They talk about somebody talking, or they talking about Trump being mad with Obama. Listen, we all agree Trump is a horrible president. But if you fucking focus on Trump being mad at Obama, what the fuck listen, like I just said, when you look at the list of presidents in my lifetime, and I really know politics, political science was my minor in college, fucking Obama statistically is the best president I've had in 40 years on this earth. But Obama still, under the guise of what you thought he was going to do for black people, he wasn't shit. He didn't do nothing for us. He even kind of allude to it, but he never talk about it directly. He'd be like, well, if I, looking back, if I went back in time and, well, you got to understand there was a lot of pressure and, me and Michelle and Sasha and Malia, there are a lot of people in the forces against us. And, nigga, we voted for you 90%, fam, 95%. We put you way over the top. You were blowing people out. Even if you said the first term, okay, I'm under pressure, I don't want to make it look like I'm just black folks president, cool, get it, got it, heard, understood. But what's your excuse for your second term? Your second term was no excuse. Your second term was you your second term might as well, you can probably say it's like a Trump second term. You was irrelevant, what they call it? What somebody give me the word when it doesn't matter anymore. I forgot when it doesn't matter anymore. And so, you could just do whatever the hell you want. Like Trump, no, there's no re-election. He just can give you that rhetoric. Maybe I'll look at the third. Bitch, you wouldn't dare. You wouldn't even try. Bitch, your Secret Service will really be coughing and sneezing when they busting at your ass. They'll be looking at the moon and the stars. They'll be looking at their iPhone, bitch. That you wouldn't even dare because nobody would allow it. So you can get that rhetoric to the foolish people that's on some coke type shit. But the reality of it is you're an inconsequential president. And I think the thing that won me over to vote for Trump this time around, mind you, I was on Green Party all day, Jill Stein all day. But voting for Jill Stein, I understood that it wasn't like voting for Ralph Nader, where it kind of was symbolic and people understood that, hey, man, listen, it's going to move or sway people to say, well, there's going to be influence because Ralph can give his endorsement behind a candidate and it could probably sway the election. So I wanted to be symbolic with Jill. So voted for Jill. Obviously, she didn't make too much noise. I voted for Biden. I felt like a piece of shit because I knew better. but yet he shitted on the money. Boom, cool. Now I'm just confused, right? Went from saying fuck Trump to like Trump say I'm a consequential president. When he said that, that shit made my antennas stand. Consequential. That mean, bitch, when I get in day one, bitch, executive order, I ain't doing all that Obama shit. This is what turned people off. See, right now everybody turned off to both parties. I'm gonna tell you what turned them off to the Democrats. Originally. First of all, you should be fully, if you're watching this, the Republicans, if they didn't take the taste out your mouth, slap the taste out your mouth for politics, there's nothing will. The Republicans have just betrayed America. With that said, before the Republicans betrayed America, the biggest thing to turn off to the Democrats was, like I said, Obama didn't do shit and Biden made excuses. Biden had the House, the Senate, and the executive. Like, mind you, they made this big ass deal. If Raphael Warnock wins in Georgia, oh man, watch out. What does Raphael do? He fucking wins. And then what do they do after that? They say the fucking West Virginia fucking senator, I can't think of his name, from West Virginia, all of a sudden he calling shots. He said, nah, I don't like that. And they blaming it on him because they didn't want to move the needle anyway. It was just that fucking, it's like when somebody, if somebody say, when you tell somebody, hey, how can I help you? How can I help you, man? You need help? You need some money? You hoping that they'll be prideful and say, no, I'm good. But what happens when they say, yeah, I need a lot. I need your help. Now you like, fuck, I thought you was saying that. That was just some hyperbole. I didn't know you was going to really say, yeah. And so they didn't know fucking the Democrats was really going to win. So they win. Now Joe Biden like, well, we can't pass this because we're a nation of fairness. I became the president of the people. No, motherfucker, you became a president of the Democratic Party. If you wanted to be a president of the people, bitch, why you ain't run independent? Funky bitch. You became a president of the people when you realized you was going to have to actually push the needle. So that turned motherfuckers out. And mind you, they already had them book on your boy Bernie Sanders. And I was pissed on how Bernie Sanders just didn't say fuck it and go rogue. If I was Bernie Sanders, I'd be like, I'll spend the rest of my career. They cheated me. I'll go on a whole they cheated me campaign. I would have been on some independent. That's why I say Bernie compromised. Can't trust him. Because how you still rocking and representing a party that betrayed you, fam? They shitted on you. You can't. You too smart not to see like everybody else see. Your constituents and everybody who didn't vote for you, they see that they betrayed you. So how the hell you still rocking with that party? You in bed with them in some kind of crooked way, bro. Which shows you, going back to Genesis, going back to point A, everybody on the Republican and Democratic side is on the same ticket, under the same rule, under the same structure. And the only way you can change is not saying, well, and shout out to the social democrat. They call them socialite Democrat, whatever they want to call them. Call them what you want. At the end of the day, as long as the name is Democrat, can't trust it. Call it what you want. As long as the name is Republican, can't trust it. You still under that same umbrella. Now, do I get the point, though? This is another part I will acknowledge. You don't just start a new party overnight. Had they started a new party overnight, fucking Elon would have probably got assassinated. Because Elon, when he was on that Doge shit and was trying to get Doge popping and all this shit, like these tax write-offs, Elon was like, I'm going to start me the American Party. Trump was like, bitch, we'll deport you so fast. You never heard no fucking rhetoric about no American Party no more from Elon. That third party shit went down his throat and out his ass. He shitted it out. It was no more thoughts of a third party. So I say that this two-party consequential dominating, taking turns, who gonna dominate. And there's another thing you should look at. For all of like American history buffs, look at when the last time we had a non-Democrat Republican president. Look at when they used to have a Federalist Party, or I want to almost say like the Libertarians put a president in before. Look at these different structures of parties. That was diversity. And that's when elections were real. That's before corporations can intervene and say, let's do away with these other third, fourth parties and let's dominate this and make this look like sock'em, rock'em, sock'em, if you remember that game, where we just do left and right, but really there's no declared winner because we control the punches coming from both sides. So I do understand that you can't get on a major ticket in the immediate time frame by going independent. I get it. you would have to get like some kind of DNC nomination, RNC nomination. But I just would like to see a person just go rogue for once. The same, I would like the opposite of Trump. Like the way Trump went rogue on his constituents, I would like to see a guy say all the right things, who's already decided, man, I'm gonna die by this shit. Cause you're gonna die by it. Don't let's make no mistake. Let me zoom, let me pan in. You're gonna die about it. But if you've already made your what do they call it? Major rights with God, major rights with your family, and said, man, I'm America first. Real America first mean country before self. That's what real soldiers do, right, on the battlefield. That's what they think they're doing. They think they're putting their country first when they really put some corporation policy first. But in their heart and the way they're trained up is country first. I die for this shit. I believe in this shit. Okay, well, I would like to see. That's why I used to always say I believe a president should be ex-military. I no longer feel that way, but I used to say that for a long time, on record for saying that. Having said that, though, I do believe a country should be a president, the next president should be prepared to die for this country, because you're gonna die when you go against the people behind the scenes, the people behind the curtains who running shit. And you run off this campaign and you say you get whatever they give you, their blessings. Okay, we're gonna allow you to be president. We're gonna bless you with that. And then you get out there and your policies speak different. Your policies speak for the people of America. Oh, they're gonna kill you. But by that time, the seed is planted. You see, JFK will be immortalized forever because of his death. He's going to be talked about forever. The conspiracy never goes away. It's not a conspiracy. We know. That's sad that we actually know. It's kind of like they let it be an open rumor to talk about to kind of like dissuade you from ever wanting to go to JFK route. But they don't, because they need you to know, hey, you get your shit blew off in front of your wife. You get... I'm not going to bring that guy up. Bottom line is, we will fucking murder you in front of your folks so they can get the idea. So that's all. I'm simply saying that I would like to see a president lay it all on the line and go rogue the next presidency. And I believe that it would be nice had a third party arose out of nowhere and we just supplant these Democrats and Republicans, because I'm over all of that shit. But the way that we get rid of them is we start by looking at who they receive funds from. And they got tracking APAC. I don't know why that's not the biggest site in the world or get the most Google searches. They got who's accepting money. It starts with, I'm not voting for nobody. I don't give a fuck what the position is that accepts money for APAC. I don't care if it's $1. I don't care if it's a bus ticket. I'm not voting for you. You compromise. Like, you mean to tell me these the only people you could get money from? Nobody else was willing to give you money? Nobody? So that means you're what you call a plant. Like we call them industry plants in entertainment. You're a political plant. You couldn't raise money through grassroots because nobody knows you and believes in you. Nor do you have a background to substantiate the shit you're talking about. So, just watch out for these people. And it's been a great stream. It's funny, I was real serious in the stream and no trolls came in. I'm blessed to have that. With that said, y'all take care, love, I'm out. Good night.